Hi, in this tutorial we will learn about 4 new features for the spline object: chamfer, fillet, trim, and extend. First, let's create a rectangle here from shapes. Rectangle, click and drag, right click. Now the object is parametric, so to be able to work with the sub-object level, I need to convert it to editable spline. Now I will go to vertex sub-object level. I can click here or here. I will select one or more vertices. I can select as many vertices as I want. I will select those two. Here I will start with the chamfer. There is two ways to create a chamfer. I can click the button, then when the mouse is close to a selected vertex, you can see the icon of chamfer. Now you can click and drag to chamfer the corners. If you don't like the result, use Ctrl Z to undo. Don't click and drag again. Just Ctrl Z and do it again. Ctrl Z. Another way, if you like to be precise, you can use a value here. You can enter a value. I will try 20, and you can click outside or press enter. Now the way it works, Max will cut 20 units from this segment and 20 units from this segment. Same thing here, and connect the two segments together with a line. Again, if you don't like the result, you need to use Ctrl Z, and you cannot just enter another value here because it is not parametric. You cannot adjust it. You need to undo and then redo it again. Use another value like 40, for example. Ctrl Z. Now for the fillet, same thing. You can use the button here. You can click, and when the mouse is close to a selected vertex, you can see the symbol of fillet. Now you can click and drag to create a fillet. Again, if you don't like the result, use Ctrl Z to undo, and just click the fillet and try another value. Also, you can specify a value here. Let's say 20. Now the value that you enter here is a radius. What you see here is an arc. If I continue this shape here, I will have a circle with a radius of 20. Undo. Again here, if you don't like the result, you need to undo and then enter a new value. Of course, you need to select the vertices. But anyway, even if the vertices are not selected, you can click the button here and then move the mouse over a vertex, then click and drag immediately. You can do the same thing with the chamfer. Now for the extend and trim. To use those, you need to be working on the spline sub-object level. Before that, I will add another shape to this spline. I will go to shapes, and I will create a circle. Now both shapes need to be in the same spline. The extend or trim, they don't work on separate objects. So I will select the rectangle and click attach. Now we have one single spline. Now I should go to spline sub-object level, scroll down. Here we have trim and extend. I will click trim. Now if I click on this part here, on this segment, the circle will play the role of the cutter. If I click on this part here, those two segments will play the role of the cutter, as you can see. Here now I have two vertices, as you can see. I will go to perspective viewport. If I add an extrude, you can see that I don't have a solid object. It's not closed because I will turn off the extrude for now. I need to weld those vertices here. We saw this in other video related to spline. So here, for example, here I have two vertices. So I will select the vertices here and go to weld, choose a very small value. Like we saw before, we need to choose a very small value because we only need vertices that are very close to each other. In this case, they are in the same place. So when I click weld, the pairs of vertices, they turn white. That means the operation, the welding operation, is successful. So now here, if I select this vertex, we have only one vertex. So now I have a closed shape. If I go back to extrude, turn it on again, now I have a solid object. Now for the extend, I will create a line. Again, these two objects need to belong to the same spline, so I will click attach. Now I will go to spline sub-object level. I will click extend. Now because I want this line to extend in this direction and touch this segment here, I need to click starting from the half and in this part of this segment. That means if I click here, nothing will happen. So I will click here, somewhere here. So now this segment is extended and it will stop here. If I click again, it will stop in the second second segment that it will find. Combining the extend and trim, I can, for example, click on trim now and click here. I can remove this part and I will click here. This part will play the role of the cutter, so I can have this. I can create interesting shapes by using the trim and extend. Again, here I have pairs. As you can see, two vertices selected and two vertices selected. So I need to weld, and as you can see, everything turns white. If you still see some red where you have the pairs of vertices, that means something wrong happened. The welding operation is not was not successful. So now I can add the extrude modifier. I can play around with this shape. Now I can do some filleting. For example, I can click chamfer, and basically that's it. Now you can experiment on your own, trying to try to create some interesting shapes. And that's it for this video. If you like it, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Thank you.